Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear children. Children, in the previous session we discussed about the solar system, introduction to solar system and internal structure of the earth. And in today's session of Earth, Sun and Moon, we are going to discuss about the Sun and some planets, the inner planets. Right, so let us start with this session, children. Yes, first of all we should know that what is Sun. Children, as you know that Sun is a huge ball of fire. It is a star, it is not a planet. So do remember that it is a star, not a planet. Our Sun is just like the stars we see in the night sky, and it is also the only star that we see during the daytime, right? It is the star which is closest to the earth, or we can say rather it is closer to the earth, about 1.5 million kilometers away. So the Sun's center is actually about 15 million degrees Celsius, and Sun is so hot that the planets which are millions of kilometers away can also feel its heat. So that's mighty hot, right? So do remember that it is a star, not a planet, and it is only the star that we see during the daytime. Now you must be thinking that if the Sun is a star, then why can't we see other stars during daytime? Because Sun is a huge ball of fire, and it consists of the gases in it, and the Sun's core or center is so very hot that even millions of kilometers away planets can feel its heat. So because of this light and because of this heat, because of this light, other stars cannot be seen during the daytime, and that is why we can see only the Sun during daytime. The stars are at the same place where they are at night. When we see at night many stars, we can observe many stars, but during daytime also the stars are present at the sky. The stars are actually at the sky, but we cannot see it because of the Sun's light, so bright light. So we can say that Sun is the brightest star of all. Yes, it is also a huge ball of hot burning gases, and the temperature at the core of the Sun, which we discussed, is about 15 billion degrees centigrade, and on the surface it is of about 6,000 degrees centigrade. So you can just imagine that just on its surface it is 6,000 degrees Celsius, and its core is more hotter than its surface, right? The Sun has a thin layer of atmosphere called the corona, like our Earth. The planet, our Earth is also a planet. Our Earth is a planet, and it has a thin layer of atmosphere. In the same way, the Sun has also a thin layer of atmosphere called the corona, and it is this corona that we sometimes see during the solar eclipse. Now you must be knowing about the solar eclipse. When the moon comes between the Earth and the Sun, it blocks the sunlight to an extent, and Sun looks as though it has a disk in front of it that creates a shadow. So here the Sun is eclipsed or hidden partially from the view, and this is known as a solar eclipse. So this thin layer of atmosphere known as corona can at this time, it is because of this layer that we can see during a solar eclipse, when the Sun is eclipsed, when the Sun is hidden from the view. So let us see more information and let us study more about the Sun. Yes, this is the picture of the Sun, which appears as a huge ball of fire and which consists of the burning gases in it. So children, the spherical Sun has a diameter of 13 lakhs and 92,000 kilometers, and Sun is so big that 1 million of Earths would fit into it. That means it measures more than a kilometers across, million kilometers across, but it is still considered small because stars are usually much larger than it. In fact, we can say that Sun is called a dwarf star. As Pluto is considered as a dwarf planet, Sun is considered as, or Sun is called as a dwarf star, because if we will see to it, this has a diameter of so much kilometers, that is 13 lakhs and 92,000. So it seems so big. It is so big that million of Earths would fit into it. So we can just imagine that how big or how enormous it is. But other stars or the stars are usually much larger than this also. Now you can imagine that stars are so enormous in size. It appears so tiny when viewed from the earth with naked eyes, right? But actually, compared to other stars, Sun is very small, and that is why it is considered to be the dwarf star. So if Sun is so big, we can imagine that stars would be so big, other stars would be so big, right? So actually, the Sun is made up of about 75% of hydrogen and 25% of helium. Now we must be thinking that it consists of the burning gases. So which are those gases which are present in it? Yes, they are the hydrogen and helium. Helium is present at the center of the Sun or the core of the Sun, and the hydrogen around it is constantly changing into helium, and this releases heat and light energy. Now, did you got the answer? That from where does this heat and light comes? How can the Sun release so much of heat and light, which is so very useful to us? It is because of these two gases present in it, hydrogen and helium. Helium at the center of the Sun, and hydrogen which is around it is also constantly changing into helium. And this changes slowly over time as the hydrogen changes into helium in its core, that is in the center. So these changes takes place very slowly, right? So these are the two gases which plays a very important role in releasing heat and light energy. So children, the Sun's energy is produced by some reactions known as nuclear fusion reactions, and it generates 386 billion megawatts of energy. You will be very amazed to know that Romans called the Sun as Sol, which in English means sun. In ancient Greece, the Sun was called as Helios. The Sun was born in a vast cloud of gas and dust around 5 billion years ago. Indeed, these vast nebulae are the birthplaces of all the stars. As we know that Sun is also considered to be one of the stars, a dwarf star. So over a period of many millions of years, this gas and dust began to fall into a common center under the force of its own gravity. And at the center, an ever-growing body of mass was forming. As the matter fell inward, it generated a tremendous amount of heat and pressure. And as it grew, the Sun became hotter and hotter. Eventually, when it reached a temperature of around 1 million degrees, its core ignited, causing it to begin a nuclear fusion. And because of these reactions which occurred in the Sun, it started releasing heat and light energy. And when this happened, the Sun began producing its own light, heat and energy. So we can say that Sun is by far the largest object in the solar system. But it is from which point of view we can say that it is the largest object in the solar system? We can say it by this view, that 98% of all the matter within the solar system is found within the Sun. This means that all the planets, moons, asteroids, minor planets, comets, gas and dust would all combine to make up only 2% of all the matter in the solar system. So Sun is so large that the Earth would fit into it, and that too million times. But then too, it is still smaller than as compared to other stars, right? So it is because of these gases, hydrogen and helium, that it always keeps burning and is very hot. The outside temperature of the Sun is 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, and a really hot day on the Earth is only whenever in the summer season we experience a hot day. What does this mean? Now you must be imagining that if the outer layer of the Sun is 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, then how much hotter it can be. But whenever we experience a really hot day on Earth, how much Fahrenheit it would be? It is only 100 degrees Fahrenheit when we experience a really hot day on the Earth. And as compared to this 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you can just imagine that its layer would be so hotter. The Sun's surface is about 100 times as hot as the hottest day on Earth. So it is impossible to live there or even to go nearby the Sun. We would be not alive, right? All the planets in our solar system orbit or revolve around the Sun. The Sun spins around too. That is, scientists pretend that planets and stars have a line drawn through their middle. That is the imaginary line. This line is called an axis, right? Our sun spins around its axis just like the other planet, just like each planet does. So sun is very, very big, right? And our sun is called a yellow dwarf star. So it is actually very important to us, right? And it is this light and heat that we receive on Earth. So the energy which we get from the sun is called as the solar energy. Solar energy is the most important source of energy for us. And you will be very amazed to know that solar energy is almost inexhaustible. Inexhaustible means something that will never finish or it will get completely used up. Well, we can say that it is inexhaustible, but one or the other day or one or the other time, at some time, solar energy might get over, but not for another several billion years at least. So we do not have to worry about the solar energy to get exhaustible, right? So it is inexhaustible. While sunlight is very important and useful to us, there is some part of it called as ultraviolet rays that is harmful to us. Like the Earth's atmosphere has a layer around means the Earth's atmosphere has a layer around it called the ozone layer that protects us from the harmful effects of these rays. That is why we are alive. Think if this ozone layer was not present on the Earth's atmosphere or around Earth's atmosphere, then what would have happened? Because of the sun ultraviolet rays, we would not be able to live on the planet, on our planet, the Earth. So we should be thankful to God, right? Because of this Earth's atmosphere, which has a layer called as ozone layer, we are protected from these harmful effects of these rays called as UV rays or ultraviolet rays. Okay, so as we know that sun is very much important to us, sun is very much useful to us in many ways, but still we should take care of ourselves from these ultraviolet rays, right? Because much more exposure to these ultraviolet rays can lead to cancer like diseases, like skin cancer. So we should take care of that, right? So that was all about our sun. Now let us study about the planets. What is a planet? As we know that our solar system consists of the sun and the 8 planets, but first of all we should be familiar with the term, we should be clear with this term that what is actually a planet. Yes, by the current count of astronomers, our solar system includes 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets. But what is a planet? It is a celestial object that revolves around the sun. The celestial object means what kind of objects it can be? Yes, we will discuss about it in this session, right? The objects which we used to study, that is the meteors and asteroids, but they are the objects that do not revolve around the sun. So they are not considered to be the planet. So the round object or the celestial object that revolves around the sun is called a planet. Now you must be thinking that how these planets were formed. As we discussed in the previous session that the planets were formed during the process of the solar system formation when clumps began to form in the disk of gas and dust. As we discussed, the scientists believe that the solar system evolved from a giant cloud of dust and gas, and they believed that this dust and gas began to collapse under the weight of its own gravity, and the matter which contained within this cloud began moving into this giant circle, right? Much like a water in a drain moves around the center of the drain in a circle. So at the center of the spinning cloud, this giant spinning cloud, a small star began to form, and with the formation of the solar system and with the beginning or the formation of the star, there were many clumps around it which also began to form with this star known as the sun. And as we know that sun was formed in the disk of gas and dust, means a giant cloud of gas and dust. As we know that when the star like our sun started forming in the solar system, under the influence of the gravity, this gas and dust also started forming, right? And the clumps were also started forming because of the collapsing of this dust and gas due to the weight of its own gravity. and that is why the sun in the center eventually ignited, forming our sun, while the smaller clumps which we discuss here became the planets, or the minor planets, or moons, or comets, or asteroids. So out of these planets were formed. So we can say that during the process of solar system formation, our planets were formed. Now let us see and study about all other planets. Yes, so the first planet which we will study in this session is Mercury. As we know, as we will go linear wise, the planets, the 8 planets which are present in the solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, right? And lastly we will discuss about the dwarf planet, right? So the first one is the Mercury. Mercury is the planet closest to the sun. Less than half of the size of the Earth, it is the second smallest planet in the solar system. As we saw in the diagram, as we saw in the image, Mercury has a very little atmosphere and it is similar to the moon. From which point of view it is similar to the moon? That it has a dusty surface covered with the craters. As we know that moon has also craters. Now you must be thinking that what are craters? Yes, craters are the deep holes that have been made by the large object that crashed into the surface of the moon and the Mercury, right? And because of this, the deep holes were created, the deep holes were formed, and they are called as craters, right? So Mercury has a very little atmosphere, and similar to the moon, it has a dusty surface covered with craters. But the second difference, the main difference between the Mercury and the moon is that Mercury is the planet closest to the sun and moon is not so closest to the sun, and Mercury has a very little atmosphere but moon has no air and water, right? So this is the main difference between them. Let us have a look at the Mercury. There is a picture of the Mercury. Yes, this is the Mercury. As you can see here, it is formed due to the dust surface. It has a dusty surface covered with the craters, right? And it has a very little atmosphere. So these craters are actually the result of the years of asteroids and other objects hitting the planet. And beneath the rocky layer, Mercury is mostly comprised of iron, and the weather of the Mercury has extreme variations because of its atmosphere. It is between 950 degrees Fahrenheit at its hottest and less than -300 degrees Fahrenheit at its coldest. So we can just imagine that how hot and cold temperatures are there and how the extreme variations takes place. So Mercury's orbit is actually elliptical, which means that there is a lot of variation in terms of the distance between this planet and the sun. And at the closest point in the orbit, the distance is about 27 million miles, and at the farthest we can say that it increases to about 41 million miles. So this is what the distance is there between the sun and the Mercury. Let us see that how much time does it take to revolve or to spin. Yes, it takes only 88 days to orbit once around the sun, but then each day on Mercury is as long as almost 2 months on the Earth. So this is the comparison which we can discuss. Like our Earth takes 24 hours for just one day. One day means 24 hours on Earth, but for Mercury, one day means 2 months. 2 months means how many days it can be? Yes, 60 days. But it takes 88 days to orbit once around the sun and almost 2 months on Earth. So each day on the Mercury is as long as almost 2 months on the Earth. This is because it rotates very slowly on its own axis, and this tiny planet does not have any rings or moons of its own, right? So it is the smallest planet in the solar system, and it lasts for 59 Earth days, It does not spin as fast as the Earth. Only slightly larger than the Earth's moon, Mercury's surface is covered with craters, and this planet has no rings or no moons, right? So now this was all about Mercury. Let us also study about the facts about Mercury, the interesting facts about Mercury. Yes, NASA's latest mission to Mercury is called Messenger, and the Messenger spacecraft entered Mercury's orbit in March 2011 and is sending back new pictures of the planet. So you can just imagine that what kind of interesting mission NASA is performing. Messenger is now moving with the Mercury around the Sun, and it is very interesting, Messenger spacecraft, because it is sending back the new pictures of the planet, and whatever is happening in the planet, that updates are being given by Messenger spacecraft to us, to NASA, right? So Mercury is one of the 5 planets that can be seen without using a telescope. Like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn can be seen without using a telescope. That doesn't mean that whenever we look at the sky at night, the planets will be seen. It is not so easy. It is not so very easy to see Mercury, but it can be seen low in the west just after sunset, or in the east just before dawn. So whenever we look at the sky at night, the planets do not twinkle in the way that stars do, right? About once every 10 or 15 years, Mercury can be seen crossing the sun. At this point, its orbit has come between the sun and the earth, and that is why it is seen. But this event is not seen every time. It is seen once every 10 or 15 years. And when watching any event near the sun, a proper filter must be used to protect our eyesight. Because with this filter, Mercury can be seen as a tiny black dot slowly passing across the sun. And it is so very interesting and amazing to see it. So remember, if we have to see the planet, and we know that Mercury is very closest to the sun, so we must never try to look directly at the sun without a filter, right? Always use a filter. Now let us study and let us move on to other planet. Yes, Venus. Venus is the brightest planet, and it is sometimes visible with the naked eye. As we discussed, that Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn can be visible to us. It can be seen without telescope. The size of the planet is similar to the Earth's, so Venus is sometimes called as the Earth's twin. But there are few similarities also, other similarities. So we will first discuss this. Venus is made up of almost the exact same types of materials as the Earth. Like Venus has also volcanoes, mountains and sand, just like the Earth. Let us have a look at the picture of a Venus. Yes, this is a picture of the Venus, right? You can just imagine that this Venus has volcanoes and mountains and sand like the Earth, and that is why its color appears in this way, and in this way we can see Venus, right? So actually, why the Venus is called as the Earth's twin? Yes, it is called because a thick layer of clouds around Venus causes it to appear bright white from Earth. This is the result of the sunlight reflecting off the cloud layer, which is in fact made up of some acid, which makes very unpleasant substance in the atmosphere of the Venus, right? And why it is called as? Because it has somewhat similarities as the Earth. Now the cloud layer, this cloud layer which appears on the Venus, creates a greenhouse effect that keeps the planet very extremely hot. The air pressure on the Venus is so strong that it can crush the submarines, and and the winds are usually faster than the tornado which occurs on the Earth. So for these reasons only, Venus is very difficult to study. The few spacecraft are there that have managed to land on Venus have all been destroyed in less than an hour, because it is extremely hot. So even the spacecraft cannot remain there. So most of what we know about the surface of the Venus comes from the spacecraft that have studied the planet from a safe distance away, right? So it is actually a sister planet to the Earth that is very different from our planet, from our home. Okay, let us now study more about Venus. Yes, as we discussed that it has a thick layer of clouds and it causes to appear bright white from the Earth, and sometimes if we observe in the evening, the brightest star which appears is actually Venus, and it is also called as the evening star because it is seen at that time when viewed from the Earth, and it reflects a lot of sunlight, and that is why we see it as a bright dot in the sky. So like Mercury, it does not have any satellite. It takes about 224 days to travel once around the sun, right? However, if they are twins, then Venus is actually the evil twin because Earth is having somewhat of atmosphere which is not so hot that we cannot survive, right? Even Venus is a deadly world where the surface temperature is so hot that it is enough to cook a meal in some minutes. There is no here to hide from this ever-present furnace. And with the atmosphere containing mostly carbon dioxide, Venus comprises of this carbon dioxide, which makes a Venus planet a very high toxic place, a very high toxic planet. So no living thing can ever survive on this planet. So this is the main difference between the Earth and the Venus, right? Alright. So I hope that you enjoyed this session and learned about Venus and Mercury, which are the inner planets of our solar system, and also about our sun. So I hope you enjoyed this session. We will continue this lesson in the next session with more information about the planets. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you, children.